This is a tough question about how do you create hunger in your kids? I don't profess to know the answer to that. I do know the things that I do with my kids. I make sure my kids, when they go, we have a birthday party, they get a bunch of presents. This goes back to the whole like when I was poor, nobody gave my kids presents. When you're successful, everybody gives your kids presents. And I don't like it, but it's the truth. It's just the way that it goes. But I tell my kids, you're going to give away half your presents. So give them to people less fortunate than you. And so we take up a big collection of the presents that we're going to give away. And so fortunately, my kids birthday coincides with Christmas. So October 29th and then Christmas. So they're giving away the presents to various charities. They get to keep like five. They got to give the rest away. And I want them to do it. I want them to be the ones who do it. So it'll inspire their desire to give back and support people. We were in vacation in Rome one time and my daughters had an Elsa and Anna doll. And there were these little kids there, probably Romanian. I don't know. I don't want to be stereotypical, but I'm pretty sure they were Romanian. And I know that there's a lot of problems with the Romanians in Italy and all this stuff, but I know the little girls are there. And I said, you have three of those dolls at home each. They don't have any dolls. It would make them happy if you gave them the doll. And so my daughters gave them the dolls, their Anna and Elsa doll. Because it was two sisters, they're two sisters. And they still talk about that. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. They still talk about that. Remember when we gave our toys to those girls? And I was like, yeah, I remember. And I'm really proud of you for doing that. So I try and reinforce that importance of giving back and serving the community. And that's an important lesson. But I don't know how to get the hunger because I had the hunger when I was a kid. Like I knew I wanted to get out of the situation I was in. So I always had a hunger. I messed up a lot, but I've created a life of my dreams. I'm sitting here in New York now. I got a place in Miami. I got an office in New York. That's like, man, it's pretty good right now where I'm at. And we started making them give stuff away, I think when they were about 4 or 5, I think when they could appreciate that they were giving stuff away. And they never really fought us on it. Actually, I'm really proud of them because they have an abundance. My kids have an abundance. Maybe I'm bragging and I shouldn't be, but they weren't spoiled. Like I watched the Harry Potter movie with Dudley, the Dursley boy, and he's like, 36, gosh, drive 37. And then the father's like, I'm going to buy, but they're bigger this year. I saw that and I'm always like, if that were my kid, I would take away all their toys. You're not getting any toy this year. So I look at that. I just want to cultivate that. But I remember when they could be conscious of it, probably four, I want to say 3 or 4, we started giving away their presents. We'd actually do two things. We would take some of the presents and put them in storage, like a few, and then we let them play with some of them, and then we give the rest away. So we'd have some so that really like around some other holiday or something, like if they did something good, we give them one toy. So we don't even have to go to the store to get toys. Like I'm telling you, it's a racket. My kids have got a racket. So I told my wife this morning, I said, now listen, I know you're going to the American Doll store because of some mommy guilt. Do not assuage that mommy guilt by buying more toys than they should get. $1 each. That's it. Now we'll see if that advice holds true or not. They went with some friends from church and the wife from that friend, my wife's friend said the same thing. Her husband said the same thing to her. So I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want you buying presents out of guilt. I get to do that. I'm the dad. I get to buy presents out of guilt. I have a unique situation with my kids. I have 3 daughters. I have a 17-year-old that I had from my first marriage. And the 17-year-old was 4 years old when I was going through the whole sleeping on a couch. She had the bed. I had the couch. And when she was with her mother, I'd sleep in her bed. So she remembers what it was like not to have resources and money. My twins, who are now 7, they both think of Four Seasons as the normal hotel. And it's a little annoying. It's more than a little annoying to me. But in any event, I understand this. So my point is, I have a lot of dad guilt with my oldest daughter because one, there was a lot of financial crisis, but also because of the divorce with her mother. My wife now points out to me that there are many times where I kind of brush over things with my older daughter. She believes because I feel guilty about that. And she's probably right. I don't fight her on that because she's probably right. I don't really know what's going on inside my head. Men sometimes are not in touch with their emotions as women are. So maybe that's the case. So I really, with my older daughter, I have to really like be more mindful. With my younger daughters, I'm really looking at just crushing down the spoiled, the entitlement. I really push on that. So for example, when they leave their toys laying around, I get them out of their room and I say, you pick up all these toys right now. At a younger age, I'm very mindful of this idea that, oh, the housekeeper may get it or grandma's going to pick it up or whatever it is. No. You guys are going to take care of your stuff. And my wife tells me that I'm tougher on our 2 kids than I am on my oldest. So I do feel like I have to be conscientious and mindful and maybe engineer experiences for both because my 17-year-old is a lot older now and she's much more mature. She's getting ready to go away to college. The kind of experiences I'm trying to engineer in her, are a little different. I do also make sure that she has a good friend group, my oldest daughter, and I'll say no. Like there's some friends she can't hang out with because I know. I look at their Instagram and their TikTok and I'm like, no, those are not people you want to hang around with. We're here in New York. My daughter's here in New York. She's got a friend from church who's going to school here. She's like, Helena's here. Can I? I'm like, yes. I don't even need to know what it is. Like, you can do it. Here's some money. Go have fun with your kids from church. So, because it's a good girl. I know the girl. I know the parents and I know the family. Now, does that mean that I'm going to completely like lose track? No, no, I'm going to know where she's at and everything. But you have to engineer. You have to be conscientious about it. As your finances go up, I think you've got to be more mindful of the messaging for your kids that we're not entitled to this at all. We're not entitled to this. In fact, I even told my kids, I'm going to give most of my money away. I don't know. My wife will probably outlive me, so she's going to actually have the final say in it. But if it were up to me, my kids would get enough of their education paid for, maybe get a house, and that's it. And that's a lot by most standards. That's still a lot.
If this resonates with you, let me know below. Or if you'd like us to talk about something else, leave us a comment.